towards Shelbyville, towards Vandalia. And keep in mind that Effingham right now, still not yet within any warnings, but if this continues with this line, don't be surprised if you see a tornado warning issued into parts of Effingham County or into Cumberland County as well. So just keep that in mind, even towards Mattoon as well. So just keep that in mind that we've been tracking this here for the last couple of hours. And just like remember, it's all because of the fact that we had that warm front. And it's pretty much these areas that are just within that warm front area where we saw these dew points make their way up into the 60s here throughout parts of the afternoon. You can see the dew point temperatures right now as we're approaching the 7 o'clock hour. Definitely, quite juicy there. We're dealing with those muggy dew points into the 60s. That's allowing for these thunderstorms to really just fire up. Keep in mind that we did have some sunshine throughout parts of the morning, but we also had some sunshine throughout parts of the afternoon before this all fired. And that was one of our concerns as well, is the fact that we had, along with the warm front, we had that sunshine in play as well. That really helps to destabilize the atmosphere. It's that fuel for these storms to fire across the area. So something just to keep in mind of what's happening right now when it comes to those dew points. But you could already see that dew points are already starting to fall a little bit more off towards the west already. Jacksonville was 53 degrees. I know just about an hour ago, Jim and I were pointing out how the dew points there were at 60 degrees. So you can already tell that there's some changes already beginning to happen off towards our westernmost communities. Even Carlinville is starting to fall a little bit into the 50s as well. So we will notice that as from west to east, as we go through the next couple of hours, as this line continues to push off, we will start seeing eventually the influence of the cold front beginning to push through across central Illinois. And like we were showing earlier when it comes to Futurecast here, if you haven't, we showed it to you a little bit earlier, about an hour ago. Let me just show it to you now when it comes to Futurecast, just so we can track a little bit what's happening when it comes to these storms. I'm going to try to find it here really quickly, but just keep in mind that most of this is projected to be gone by the time we make our way towards the 10 o'clock hour. So that is something that you want to keep in mind. Even though that severe thunderstorm watch for the 4 easternmost counties that have been issued, it's expected to end by the time we make our way towards about 10 o'clock at night. We should already making our way towards all clear. But let's take a look at what's happening when it comes to Futurecast here. So you can see here around 7 o'clock right now. It's already making its way. Those cells already making their way over parts of Taylorville and Point South, or really just way south of Taylorville right now. But notice by the time we make our way towards 8:30, it's already making its way towards I-57. And then eventually by the time we make our way, say, closer towards like 9:30 or so, it's already making its way towards Marshall, even towards Paris. Maybe you could see maybe a stronger thunderstorm a little bit off towards the north, closer towards the Danville area, but eventually pushing into Indiana by the time we make our way towards 10:30 at night. And then we'll still deal with just another round of some showers and some weaker thunderstorms behind that before things begin to officially clear out more so as we make our way past midnight across the area. So that's just something to keep in mind. We have that severe thunderstorm watch. It still covers pretty much all of our southern counties. Jacksonville, Carlinville, Springfield should eventually see their watches, that portion of the watch expire as we make our way here over the next hour or so. But keep in mind over towards our easternmost communities, those will continue to 2 a.m., but overall the threat itself should be ending by the time we make our way towards the 10 o'clock hour. So let me just show you what's happening here on radar. So if you're joining us, like I mentioned before, 7:30 when it comes to the warnings over into parts of southeastern Christian County and Shelby County, and along with Fayette County. But Montgomery County is expected to expire here at 7 o'clock. But I would not be surprised. Maybe they'll just try to reissue part of that polygon, maybe going a little bit past 7, because there's still some activity within parts of Montgomery County.
Absolutely. I highly suspect that's going to be the case. And even for areas down the road, such as, once you get on into Effingham, southeastern Shelby County, and then your Cumberland and Coles, these are all locations that will likely be under the warning here momentarily. Now, the question mark is whether or not it's going to be a severe thunderstorm or a tornado warning. Not that the tornadoes have been on the ground. Sometimes you see these long track tornadoes, but this is a scenario where it's probably up, down, up, down. So you'll have numerous reports from one cell but it wasn't on the ground the entire time, and that would be the tornado. So it'll be very interesting to see if we continue to see these supercells split and kind of leave parts of the county alone, but just ravage other parts. So that's definitely going to be a concern. And you can see the leading edge of it, and I mentioned it time and time again. It's not going to be the back end. It's not going to be the next round of showers or a thunderstorm. It's the leading edge of this squall line that's going to produce the damage. It is a one and done. The unfortunate thing is, I mean, it's coming into US 51 right now. There's a lot of real estate farther off to the east that is still going to be a part of it. So it's the latest warning Ulysses mentioned, another 29 minutes, and this is the red polygon right here. It's drawn a little weird because they put all of Fayette County into it. I think just for the purpose of making it easy. But that is it right there, coming up into southwestern Shelby County, still a southeastern part of Christian County, and points southbound. So right at the top of the hour, it did look like that expired here, Ulysses. It doesn't look like it's out for the western flank of, it would be the eastern flank of Montgomery County, if I'm correct. It looks like that would have expired. That would be out of the St. Louis office. So this is just going to be up until the bottom of the hour. I'll get out of the way so you could actually see this, the tornado warning until the bottom of the hour. And it's going to be for Fayette County, up into southwestern areas of Shelby County, as well as southeastern Christian. But let me just get the quick confirmation.
Yeah, so as of right now, from what it looks like Montgomery County is no longer within any warnings right now. So it looks like it has been allowed to expire, and it's pretty much making its way into parts of Fayette, Shelby, and parts of Christian County. And
it does make sense. I mean, so again, leading edge, not the back edge, okay? So, I mean, it encompasses a decent piece of real estate, not tremendous, but again, you're looking at the backwards C on the leading edge of this. You're not going to be like this, a little notch right there. You're looking more out here for those notches to be developing. Certainly could have hail back there. I don't think it would be anything tremendous, but it's the front side of the storm system. And I think we'll continue to see this picking up the pace just a little bit as it merges with some of the storms. They're on the eastern flank of that tornado warning out in the Cowden area, that part of the southern flank of Shelby County. And we've actually seen that of late. Ulysses mentioned it before, that the forward speed increased to about 40 miles per hour, as opposed to the, it was roughly 25 to 30, depending on your location. So while it's generally on average, this is now a little bit above average. And it's going to continue west to east. I don't think it's a southwest to northeast like we saw on Tuesday. The way these Boeing segments work, they develop along or south of the actual warm front. And that warm front is situated right along parts of Interstate 72. The main convergence is right here. So they bow out west to east. They don't bulge out to the north. So as the storm is racing in that fashion, the air is pushed out in advance of it. A lot of times, you could smell it if you're out in advance of the storm. You see it off in the distance with the rain shaft. Looks nice and dark right there. You start to smell it. You feel the wind picking up the pace. That's that segment that's coming out at you, okay? So we have those in terms of a couple clusters in advance of that main squall line that's out over southeastern Shelby County. But the actual warning is farther off to the southwest. Highly believe, and there's no reason why it wouldn't continue into Effingham County, as well as the remainder of southeastern Shelby County, because we continue to see these areas of weak rotation. Nothing in terms of confirmed activity lately, but if the wall cloud continues to rotate at any point, and we see this time and time again. Okay, it's not there, it's not there, it's not there for a good half hour. and then boom, drops down. And it may only be a scenario where it's on the ground for 100 yards. It's 100 yards of damage if it hits a populated area. Hopefully they don't. If they're out over the field, great. In many areas, crops aren't in yet, depending on what you're growing. But there it is, east of US 51 now. Now, it is raining hard along US 51. You have to get away from Macon County, mind you. There's action back to the west. And just that it's going to call me a liar, a severe thunderstorm warning back to the northwest coming away from Sangamon County. That's going to be northern Christian, western Macon, on in through southwestern DeWitt County. So, Ulysses, the particulars on this, but
Yeah, so
I've seen worse. I mean, it doesn't look that bad to me.
no, yeah, so it's southern Logan County, northern Christian County, northeastern Sangamon County, western DeWitt County, and western Macon County until 7:45, and we're dealing with a line of storms that's making its way towards the east at 45 miles an hour, and the main hazard here is a 60-mile-an-hour wind gust. So this is a wind producer here when it comes to this line here that's making its way along I-72 here. And it looks like it's almost trying to, we'll see if it ends up catching up to the main line, to the main squall line here. It might produce maybe some stronger thunderstorms, say over towards maybe closer to Champaign or Tuscola. So that's something that we'll just keep an eye out for if this catches up to that, the line further down towards the south where it's producing the tornado warnings. But definitely something that we'll keep in mind. Let me just zoom in a little bit here. But yeah, the main concern here is 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, and it does not have a tornado tag. It expires at 7:45. So I'm just going to zoom in to the line, and I'm going to try to give you a little bit of distance here and a little bit of times here for those areas. Notice that Decatur is not within the warning itself. So pretty much US 51, say Clinton, Maroa, Forsyth, Decatur, Moweaqua, they're not within the warning here. So let me just overall just put a little bit of this information, but it looks like it's just outside of Lincoln, Mount Pulaski, Buffalo, and it's moving at 45 miles an hour towards the east. So here's a look at some of the times here. You can see that Mount Pulaski at 7:10, Illiopolis at 7:19, Harristown at 7:34. If it continues to hold together by Decatur, it'll be around 7:45, 7:50, Oriana 7:54. Cerro Gordo at 8:05, Monticello at 8:16. So that's if it continues to hold together at its current speed as of right now. But this is a severe thunderstorm warning, 60 miles an hour. So just keep that in mind. And the real question will be when it comes to that portion is, even though we're not really expecting too much tornadic activity, this northern portion is still can produce some wind, maybe some hail, but will it catch up to the main line to just become a little bit stronger as it makes its way closer towards that I-57 corridor, towards the Champaign area. So, but definitely something, like Jim said, there are still some thunderstorms, some of those strong, and it looks like we have at least a low-end severe thunderstorm warning.
Yeah, and I think it will eventually catch up to it, where this all becomes one, maybe more toward Interstate 57 by the time that happens, but yeah, I mean, certainly doesn't look like much of anything here. So, yeah, that's why it's just the wind threat associated with it and a relatively small polygon compared to what we've seen so far today. Relatively small polygon because that may just be a little bit, and again, Mother Nature's calling me wrong already, so why not? But I think it may be just a quick little pulse up and then down once it cuts across Macon County. But as I've said time and time again, you don't take anything lightly. There's lightning out there. I mean, you're not going to stand outside in that for sure. 50,000 degrees is nothing to mess around with, but we still have some bigger issues farther off to the south. And that's going to be your broken squall line coming through a large part of southern Shelby County and points southbound. More hail cores developing within that one as well, not over the southwestern flank of Shelby County, all the way down past I-70, US 40 corridor. So Vandalia definitely in the thick of the things right now, but the risk of severe weather would be just off to the east along the leading edge of this. So even though the entire county, Fayette County now, is still under that tornado warning until the bottom of the hour. It's now, I'd say roughly the eastern half. So it's the leading edge that's going to be able to be the producer for severe weather if it indeed is happening. So a lot of lightning up and down with these storms. You don't quite see it just yet. But again, as I mentioned, we show cloud to ground lightning. Certainly could be some in cloud or cloud to cloud once you get farther off to the north along parts of Interstate 72. So we'll continue to keep tabs on that one right there. But the latest alerts, pink shaded area is going to be your severe thunderstorm watch. But once you get east of Shelby and Effingham counties, that watch runs up until 2 o'clock in the morning. But that's because the watching, you can see the pink shade area goes off the TV screen. It goes into southern Indiana and Kentucky. So for us here, 9:30, 9:40, I think it's done. It's on into Indiana. No longer our concern. For our eastern neighbors, yes, but we'll continue to keep tabs on that. We got the bigger fish to fry with the actual warnings. Again, there's your one warning here now, and that's going to be your severe thunderstorm warning, and this is going to be your tornado warning. 7:45, 7:30. Highly suspect. New warning issued. The rest of Shelby, Effingham, Coles. The question is, how far east is it going to be? Cumberland as well. How far east are we going to get that next warning in play? And what is still showing a rotating wall cloud? So with that, we head on over toward our velocity tracker. Yes, indeed. Everybody loves it. So you're going to see green and red shaded areas. The red is going away from the Doppler radar site. Now, our Doppler radar site, and again, depending on where we're going, it's either going to be Indianapolis, Lincoln, or St. Louis. This one is Lincoln, so you can see the scan going by there. So it's off to the north. So all this is going from the bottom of your TV screen to the top of it. Realistically, it's more off to the north and northwest, but anyhow. These are where your winds are going against it. Look at that. So in this whole mass of wind going toward Doppler radar, there's this little area that's going away from it. So that's your twisting and turning right there. Do take note. Pana, you're not in it. You're no longer in that polygon either. Thankfully. I mean, it didn't look like you were going to be in it. Not to take anything away from the storms rolling through Pana. But in terms of tornadic activity, just a skosh south. So it's going to be that area that we're more concerned about. Coming on in through Shelby County. There's Shelbyville right there. Cowden, Coney, rolling off to the east. And I believe, and we'll get a double check with Ulysses, 40 miles an hour, Ulysses?
When it comes to the tornado warning, it's moving at 45 miles an hour towards the east.
Okay, 45. And again, off to the east. This expires at the bottom of the hour. That's in 16 minutes. Now, the polygon ends right here. So, downwind, because we're still seeing rotation, you would certainly argue that there'll be another warning. And I would certainly agree with that. Once you get far enough away, doesn't look like there's much of anything happening. But there could be a little bit of funny business there. It's running north of Vandalia, though. We're so far away. If you could switch over to St. Louis, Ulysses, see if that's a little bit better for the Vandalia area.
All right, let me see if I can. All right.
Lincoln may be just a little bit too far away. You just slide the map over and it'll do it.
All right. Okay, I did click St. Louis here, so I'm just wondering why it's not showing me that information here. I just clicked on it, so let's see. Oh, there we go.
There it is right there. So, yeah, you could definitely see a little bit closer to the radar site. So, yeah, look, certainly up here, I mean, that's tough as to whether or not you're down. I mean, it's just all ragtag stuff where you may not. But right here, that definitely looks like some rotation up and around the Ramsey area, north of Vandalia. But that's running off to the east. Leading edge of the storm system's right here, and I'm not seeing the rotation in through that area. Seminary, west of Ramsey, this is all, and you can see the winds are just blowing away from the radar site. There are no problems in terms of tornadic activity over the western part of Fayette County, all off to the east. And so again, that warning expires now in 14 minutes, so we're likely to see another one right up here. You continue your merry way eastbound on Interstate 70, you're running on into Effingham. So while there's no warning in play for the time being, I highly suspect there will be one here shortly, because this is your leading edge of precipitation and it's not too far away. With the storms moving off to the east now, picking up the pace at 45 miles per hour. Why not? We're at least seeing a little bit of minor rotation. So there's the new update. You don't see anything back there over the western flank. Now I'd even say western 2/3 of Fayette County. I would be canceling that in a heartbeat out there and just putting it out for the front side. But even here, I mean, boy, you'd be hard-pressed to hang your hat on anything. Now, obviously, again, red, green. So, there certainly could be small pockets in here where we are dealing with rotation. None of them are terribly strong. So it'd be hard to hang your hat on any one in particular cell on the leading edge of this squall line, which could be tornadic. So I'm not in the National Weather Service's mind as to what their thinking is as to whether or not it's going to be another tornado warning or a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado tag. What's the difference, you may say? Tornado warning, conditions are favorable for the development of a tornado, and it could be imminent, meaning happening soon, or it's already happening. If it's a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado tag with it, you're looking more wind or hail, and in this instance, probably both, but more so wind. But a tornado certainly can spin up during that warning. And if it does, it would be reclassified as a tornado warning at that stage of the game. We saw that already earlier over Macoupin County, where it was a broad severe thunderstorm warning. In that whole county, you had a couple rotations where we had the additional warnings out. So Doppler radar time, take a look at what's cooking, leading edge of those storms coming on into Fayette County. There it is. So again, you have a little bit of action already on the northern flank there, coming over, oh boy, large part of Shelby County right there. But again, here's your leading edge of precipitation. So that US 50, US 51, excuse me, no risk of severe weather in this area. Certainly could have some hail, but most of the core is farther off to the east. And if there's anything in terms of rotation, you're going to be farther off to the east. So a little bit of notch here, maybe. Some of these little guys right here. It's all certainly a possibility. But what we've seen, and I'd say just over like the last half hour here, Ulysses, no confirmed reports. Maybe even 45 minutes right now. No confirmed reports. Nothing is standing out at us in terms of that's definitely it. So it's a question mark as to what's going to be issued farther off to the east. I would still lean toward a tornado warning, given the way this has behaved itself so far today. But there it is as I speak, and that is going to be a severe thunderstorm warning. Is that for Fayette County? Or excuse me, Effingham County? I can't quite see where the polygon goes up to, Ulysses.
All right, let me, so yes, it does include, let me see here, I'm just Yeah, so it's Shelby, Clay, and Effingham counties, and it closed until 8:15. Excuse me there. When it comes to the main concern there is 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, but it does keep that tornado possible tag on it, though. So it's pretty much for Effingham County, pretty much. So yeah, all of Effingham County, southeastern portions of Shelby County, and it's moving towards the east at 40 miles an hour until 8:15.
So we just explained the difference between, and I know we talk a lot, your voice goes out on occasion. So again, that tag there until 8:15 for the new Polygon severe thunderstorm warning. We just spoke about the difference between the severe thunderstorm warning with the tornado tag and the tornado warning. If you're just joining us, no problems. We got you covered. So we're not seeing any defined, if you could move that out of the way, Ulysses. We're not seeing any defined rotation. I mean, if they are, they're weak, but almost non-existent along the leading edge of the squall line coming through eastern portions of Fayette County right now, ready to cross on into Effingham County. That's why we were talking before. Which one's it going to be? I mean, this one's been a thorn in our side, ever since about 5 o'clock this afternoon. So I thought, they'll probably go tornado warning. But either one. But you got to have the tornado tag in there because you could very easily see where there is going to be weak rotation that spins up again with another wall cloud. Nothing in terms of confirmed spotters in this area seeing anything. Got a lot of hail down over the southern flank right there. And until the bottom of the hour, that tornado warning, by the way, is still in effect for the eastern. And boy, you know what? I would have drawn it more so here, but it extends all the way out past Ramsey. But we saw on the velocity, there is no threat of tornado out past Ramsey. No way. If it's happening, it's on the eastern flank, and it may not be. So until we see something more definable, it's going to be that severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado tag. So the difference again, tornado warning, there's either Doppler indicated or confirmed tornado on the ground now, or it's going to be imminent. This doesn't mean that it's imminent. It can happen, but it's not imminent. So 10 minutes from now, we certainly could see a little polygon within that severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado tag come out and say, this is your new tornado warning. We do have confirmation. There is a rotating wall cloud here. Could drop a tornado at any second now, okay? Funnel cloud would become the tornado once it touches the ground, excuse me. So while we're not seeing that for the time being, doesn't mean that it can't happen. It's just not going to happen in the next couple of minutes. And again, that warning, Ulysses, to refresh my memory as to what time that the latest one goes out to.
Yeah, the new severe thunderstorm
8:15?
warning is until 8:15.
8:15. And that goes along with our time frame that we're talking about, getting out past the Illinois and Indiana border, which is right here, by 9:30, 9:40. Same time frame. Still, all of that looks great for the time frame, by the way. Not great in terms of the intensity of the storms as they continue to run through that warm, humid air. Temperature's almost 80 degrees here. Dew points into the mid-60s. So this is the air that's being pushed. As winds converge, they're forced upwards. And it's drawn that warm, humid air into the center of the storm system. It's fueling it. And on occasion, we could see that column of air which starts to rotate, flip on its side. So as the air is rising, you not just have wind shear, you have directional shear. So the wind shifts, it veers. That pushes that rotating column vertically. And if it's able to come all the way down from the cloud deck to the ground, you got yourself a tornado instead of a funnel cloud. So here's that warm, humid air. And again, earlier Vandalia was coming in, I believe it was 64 dew point. Regardless of that, it is muggy in this area. But where we had the 60s prior, no longer the case. They're down into the 50s. This is an indicator that the cool front now is through. Still windy because the pressure's changing, but it's changing with the cold front, not the actual warm front off to its east. So the depth of high humidity coming down, the wind has shifted, and it's turning cooler. That's what's creating some of the storms that we're seeing out and around the Mount Pulaski area, out toward Latham right now. Now, this has spun up, so that new tornado warning, which crosses US 51, encompassing Maroa, Forsyth, over the road toward Argenta. What is that, exit 151 on Interstate 72? So it heads out past there towards Cerro Gordo, excuse me. So that's going to be northern portions of Macon County. Tornado warning up until 8 o'clock. That's going to be the top of the hour, next 34 minutes here. And it does include Warrensburg, Latham. So if we could, Ulysses, let's take a look at that velocity tracker, see what kind of funny business is coming out of the leading edge of that squall line right there.
And it's moving towards the east at 40 miles an hour.
Okay.
Just some extra information there.
So away from Mount Pulaski right now. I don't see it there. If you could read the particulars, Ulysses, are they saying Doppler indicated, or I'm not seeing anything on this?
It's just radar indicated rotation right now. When it comes to the information, when it comes to the severe thunderstorm right now. So nothing when it comes to confirmed or observed. It's just radar indicated as of this moment, moving to the east at 40 miles an hour. And like you mentioned before, though, when it comes to Interstate 72, it's pretty much between mile markers 144 to 155.
All right, yeah, I'm not going to take anything. Zoom in on that for me. I'm not going to take anything away from it. I'm just not seeing it right here. That doesn't mean anything. But I'd like to see something better because, again, this is all wind going down away. And I don't know if you could hear it, but the tornado sirens are going off here in Decatur. This is the wind that's going up toward. Well, okay, now, there it is. So, boom. We're just a little bit behind on the update because earlier I didn't see it, but now it is. And wow, that is tremendous. I don't like the look of that at all. That is a tight rotation. And look at that coming through Latham right there. My goodness. Boy, you're on the east-south end of Latham as opposed to the northwest. I want you in your safe spot right now. This is going to hightail it out of here very quickly, but that is cutting right down along 121, probably running off to its north in just a little bit here. But yeah, I mean, exactly. Wind going north here, south there. That is your clear rotation right along or just off to the east of 2300 or Ave, which becomes South Main Street in Latham. Oh, my goodness. That is a terrible signature. I don't like seeing the stuff like that at all. And that just popped up out of nowhere. No indication from earlier. And maybe once we get the update, maybe even a little bit of rotation here coming through downtown with that 1 pixel. But this looks like this is it right here. Just off to the southeast of downtown Latham, getting away from South Main Street. So again, sirens going off. Latham on eastbound across Macon County right now. That tornado warning up until the top of the hour for about another 30, 31 minutes. And rough, tough situation in around that Latham area. Let's continue to pull out Ulysses so we'll get it. And again, nothing that we're worried about in the Mount Pulaski area, minus the rain. But that's going to be your corridor right there. So I'm standing over Warrensburg. You can zoom out just a little bit there, Ulysses. So I was standing over Warrensburg, but definitely in the polygon right there. If that continues north, excuse me, due eastbound, I mean, that's splitting hairs. I'm in Warrensburg or Forsyth. Man, I am hunkering down big time right now, so you should too. Now, up the road toward Maroa, maybe not so much. splitting hairs, but that's a difference. I mean, it's a very compact. You saw that tight rotation, extremely compact. And until we get the next update that's going to be coming on in a few minutes from now, that looked like a bad scenario right there. And if you don't mind, Ulysses, let's get that debris tracker up, see if anything has been tossed aloft with that storm system being that roughly a populated area. Boy, never liked seeing that. And you're going to have to zoom in on that one right there. Well, I mean, maybe, but it's difficult to see. I mean, again, that would have it on the southeastern flank there of Latham, but yeah, nothing that jumps off the page at me that would say that debris is in the air lofted from that possible tornado. But I mean, when you see something like that, with the exception of somebody actually saying, hey, I got my eyes on this, it looked like a bad scenario there. Either in or just off to the southeast of Latham. So again, I want to keep tabs on this velocity tracker here, Ulysses, and I hope this thing just spins down rapidly, that it would be only on the ground, excuse me, for a short period of time. So again, we're waiting for that new update to come on in. And unfortunately, again, when that first update came in, I'm like, I don't see it. It just wasn't there. Unfortunately, probably a little bit of a lag getting our data in. And that's why that warning was issued, because of this right here. And my goodness, very curious to see how far east that's going to be and if that rotation continues on its own. So again, everything moving in a counterclockwise fashion just on the southeast side. Once you get in around that Latham area, not quite to Warrensburg just yet. That severe thunderstorm warning goes until 8:15, but the tornado warning just up until the top of the hour. That's going to be 8 o'clock. That's a pretty lengthy, and it was 8 o'clock, correct, Ulysses? That's a pretty lengthy polygon to have it.
Like the last 2 or 3 minutes, then one that's for 8:15. When it comes to that information here, it's going to be 8:15, and it covers Macon County, DeWitt County, and also covers parts of, let me go back, hold on.
You could zoom out on that. It's very difficult to see that.
Just zoom out. Piatt County.
Yeah, just zoom out on the whole thing so everyone could see that warning right there, that polygon. There it is, much better. So you could see how it goes out now past Cerro Gordo, over the road toward Monticello, DeLand getting in on the act as well. And again, that's at the new severe thunderstorm warning up until 8:15. Yes. But the actual tornado warning, I believe that's for the top of the hour?
It's until 8 o'clock right now. Going back to when it comes to the severe thunderstorm warning, it has a considerable tag on it, so 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts when it comes to the severe thunderstorm warning right now, so just keep that in mind. And it's also making its way off towards the east at 45 miles an hour. And there was also some reports just before that warning was issued where they were showing the fact that there was some damage reported over towards the Latham area. At 7:20, says a tree was blown down, and there was also reports in Sangamon County that numerous trees were blown down as well. So from the severe thunderstorm warning. So
okay, yeah, I certainly wouldn't doubt that around Latham area. Let's head back to that velocity tracker. Very curious, and I'm hoping that new update is in here. I mean, this is just getting ridiculous as to how slow data is pouring on in here. So again, yeah, there it is. But you could see where the polygon is. So again, unfortunately, okay, now it comes on in because the polygon was farther off to the east of where it should be. But here's that little notch. So there's Warrensburg, and that's right on the north side of Warrensburg right there. As we were talking about it, if it's marching in a due west to east fashion, it's running just off to the north of what is that, Forsyth Road right there. So again, everything blowing toward Doppler radar, away, but you get this little notch where it's back toward, so that's your indicator. And again, you could see just how it jumped within the, 5-6 minutes it took. It seemed like forever for that data to come on in. But it marched to the northeast side of Warrensburg from the southeast side of Latham. So again, probably in another 5 minutes, you're going to be way out here somewhere. So again, that new polygon has been drawn. It includes the Forsyth area. I don't believe it encompasses Maroa, though. If you could,
South of Maroa.
It's tough. It's very, very close. But obviously, this certainly looks like it's more of a concern. Oriana, Argenta coming in through this corridor. If you know where the Blue Culver's barn is, just off of Interstate 72, you know the Argenta area. That's exit 151. Coming down Oriana, I believe, is 144, in that neighborhood. But again, a very volatile situation here coming across northern portions of Macon County for the time being. And weirdly enough, that even though the tornado sirens were in play for Decatur here a short while ago, they turned them off right now. So this was never in effect for Decatur. So I don't know what's going on there. This is the real deal right here. So worst of the storm system away from Latham. And I feel very sorry for any of you folks experiencing some of the damage associated with this storm system. Obviously, only reports of trees down for the time being, but this could even turn out to be a little bit hairier situation as it's coming through some populated areas. That's going to be moving out past US 51 here momentarily, and that's what runs from Forsyth to Maroa. Excuse me, all the way up past Decatur as well. But once again, that polygon is not for Decatur itself. It is in effect for Forsyth, maybe to the south end of Maroa, as the storm continues rolling off to the east at about 45 miles per hour. The updates seem to be slow coming on in, but the rotation now, given the fact that we're a good 3-4 minutes since the last update, probably just off to the, I shouldn't say but at least, a good 5-10 miles off to the east of Warrensburg right now, or off to the east-northeast. So I'd be very cautious about this US 51 corridor where that rotation is headed to as I speak, probably here within the next 1 to 2 minutes. So caution advised, sandwiched in between Maroa and Forsyth for some of those big storms rolling on in. Even if not tornadic activity, at least some of the wind gusts topping 70 miles an hour. That is huge. That's enough to do damage just about anywhere, quite honestly. So again, away from the windows, get inside your safe location. This doesn't last long in any one given location, given its top forward speed of 45 miles an hour. But at least for the next 5 to 10 minutes in Forsyth, why not? Keep yourself safe, okay? Hopefully, time in Oriana and Argenta, get those pillows, blankets, shoes ready to go. If you have a bicycle helmet for the kids, albeit even better, even for yourself. Yes, Ulysses.
Well, it looks like we have a new tornado warning down towards Effingham County right now. Let's put on the information here really quickly here. So it's until 8:15 here. It's for Effingham County, southeastern Effingham County, moving east at 50 miles an hour and radar indicated rotation.
So again, radar indicated. So again, this was the area with the severe thunderstorm warning that had the tornado tag on it, where I said nothing was imminent, so it wasn't going to happen in just a couple of minutes, but 10 minutes sure could. And that's exactly what now that we're seeing. So again, this is going to be on the leading edge. So notice that here's the polygon, the start of it, rolling off to the east. So again, it's going to be this leading edge of the squall line. That's the concern. Now that does cross US 40 and Interstate 70 west of Effingham. So you do have Effingham within that polygon, along with Watson and Mason. But the core of the storm system is shifting off to the east. And what is the speed on this one, Ulysses? Did you say?
It's moving towards the east at 50 miles an hour. So
50,
definitely definitely the quickest warning we've had so far. We've had earlier one at 45, so definitely picking up a little bit more speed here.
Definitely. So let's hit this with the velocity, then we'll head back up to the Warrensburg, Forsyth area to check on that storm system as well. So again, well, here's where it was. Now here's the polygon. So again, this has to update. So the question is, how far did that move to there? So this hasn't updated just yet. How about farther north, Ulysses?
All right, let me go up towards the north here, see what's still hasn't made the update yet to see.
Okay, not updating just yet. So definitely some issues, unfortunately, with the weather company providing the updates through IBM. So we'll be keeping tabs on that, why the data is not coming in very rapidly. But Doppler radar, that is working. So let's check out that and the leading edge of those storms. Yep, and there you go. So this is flashing. I would imagine just an update on this, Ulysses. Let's check out, see if any damage reports coming in as we take a look at that Doppler radar. And again, there's your backwards C corridor here. So again, as I mentioned prior, you're now crossing US 51. So if there's an issue in terms of rotation, it's going to be right in this area here. So there's another update on the severe thunderstorm warning. This is the western edge. You don't have to change that. This is the western edge of the polygon right there. That continues out past Monticello. You can see the eastern flank of it. That continues in effect. But again, that backward C, this is the area that would be definitely the issue right along portions of US 51. So until the top of the hour here, maybe difficult to get it out in 18 minutes. We'll find out. But definitely a tremendous amount of rain in that area. So there's the new update. And again, I think it's more of an issue, even though we're seeing the rotation showing up there. I think it's more of an issue right here with that Boeing segment. Notice how you get some little notches here. I'd be very cautious in that area. That's right along that US 51 corridor. So as it rolls off to the east, you have travel plans, headed north or south between Moreau and Forsyth here. I'd be putting them off for just a little bit. I mean, this is a very dangerous situation. Perhaps a tornado on the ground, nothing confirmed just yet. But boy, that is just a terrible signature that we saw. Even better signature, at least what it looked like on Doppler radar just a little while ago as it rolled through the Warrensburg-Latham area. If you're just joining us, we do have a tornado warning in this area. This is going to be northern areas of Macon County from Forsyth to just south of Maroa. And you can see how the new polygon takes it even just a little bit farther south away from Maroa. It does include Argenta, by the way, as well as Oriana. That stretch of Interstate 72 that goes up towards Cisco. It does include that whole area, and it runs up until the top of the hour for another 17 minutes. If the rotation continues, obviously, I think this one could very easily be extended in terms of its time frame. If the rotation weakens, then yeah, that'll be dropped, and we'll just relegate right back to the severe thunderstorm warning, which is also in play for a much, much, much larger corridor. But it's not the only storm system that we're keeping tabs on. We're also watching the one down over southern portions of Effingham County. And there it is right there. So again, updates, and you can see a couple spots in terms of rotation. Zoom out so we could get a little bit of, yeah, there's Effingham right there. And this is, I mean, that's about the entire southern half of the county right there. But rightly so, because 1, 2, 3. So, yeah, I mean, one Boeing segment, but 3 notch signatures along its length. Where you could have rotating wall clouds here that could spin up a tornado. Ooh, that's just like a salt into the wound right there. So severe thunderstorm warning continues even farther off to the east. This warning, by the way, and I believe Ulysses will correct me, goes till 8:15.
The tornado warning until 8:15.
Yes. Now, what we're dealing with, and it just expanded here, because as we look at the eastern flank of Effingham County, there it is right there. The polygon goes past it. So I highly suspect that, at least for Effingham County, that this will be let go earlier than 8:15. So that'll be down Terre Haute's coverage area. But a scenario where we've been watching this squall line all day long, really. I mean, even this morning, Ulysses was watching it developing out over Missouri. And this afternoon, it intensifies northwest of St. Louis. And ever since 5 o'clock, we've been here keeping tabs on this one. It's now 7:46, so coming up on the 3-hour mark. And unfortunately, this one doesn't exit into the Indiana border until about 9:30, 9:40. So we got about 2 more hours of nastiness to contend with. But backside of the storm system, the leftover rain isn't severe. So Doppler radar is going to show us the leading edge of this precipitation. And you can see it right there, filling in rapidly from, well, call that the eastern quarter of Effingham County up to the Cumberland, Shelby County line. Now starting to come down at a pretty good pace over Coles County. No warnings up here. The severe thunderstorm warning ending right at the eastern Shelby County. But we have that severe thunderstorm warning, which runs out into Piatt County from Macon, and the tornado warning, that's in for the northern flank of Macon County, and that's going to be running up until the top of the hour here. That's going to be this tornado warning here. Doesn't look like they put an update out on that, Ulysses, but very clearly when they issued it, the storm was here. It's now definitely off to the east of US 51. So the problems in terms of any wind damage are, getting very, very close to Argenta right now, along with Oriana. Not so much Moreau and Forsyth anymore. So if you're hearing me in Argenta and Oriana, you need to be in your safe location now. That tornado warning is only in play for another 13 minutes. It's not going to last long in any one given location. It's moving off to the east at about 45 miles per hour, but it's a dangerous situation. I don't think this is one that's going to continue all the way farther off to the east. We saw the dew point temperatures in the mid-60s for Decatur, but they were stuck in the 50s for Champaign. So I think as we call it in training, but is basically sucking in drier air. Once you get that 50-degree dew point air, which is relatively drier, entrained into the center of the updraft of the storm system, these should gradually weaken, okay? Now, it's still going to be a little bit before they do so, but at least for the time being, we do have those warnings in play. So we'll take a look at what the velocity tracker has on it. Hopefully it has updated, and I would imagine that the National Weather Service will be putting out an update on that one as well, because that's going to be expiring soon. So this definitely has updated. Again, so you're not looking out past here. You're looking out at the leading edge. So toward, away. So again, there's a couple areas where we could have some issues in terms of rotating cloud, tornado, funnel cloud, wall cloud. Could be any of those. Could be all of those. So that's going to be the issue here as we go through time. Even here, boy, yeah, I don't like the looks of that even, to be honest with you. And that's going to be on the leading edge of it. So we'll see if that eventually creates some problems coming on into Argenta. But again, time's a wasting. In your safe location now, Argenta, okay? And hopefully if there's any mobile homes, you are already on the phone saying, come get me, or I'm coming over to your place to ride this storm system out, okay? Mobile home parks, rough, tough go in this type of a situation, okay? Even if they're bolted down, doesn't matter. So velocity tracker will be updating here shortly. We'll continue to keep tabs on this as it expires in the next 10 minutes. If we're continuing to see stuff like this, well, it's nothing huge in terms of, and don't get me wrong, huge in the intensity department, yes, but huge in terms of a rotating signature, it's not. So we'll see what happens as we get the next update in. I'd love to see this just fizzle out, of course. But at least for now, it's a wind producer for sure. And that's going to continue to race up along that stretch of Interstate 72. So keep in mind, 72, I mean, it's an east-west oriented road. But once you get away from Decatur, from Oriana on toward Argenta, it runs in that southwest to northeast fashion. So that's going to encompass a large piece of Interstate 72 here before it makes a turn eastward again over the road toward Monticello, okay? So definitely some problems in this area approaching Argenta as I speak. And Doppler radar is going to continue to show stuff like that. We'll also take a look at the hail tracker to see if anything is coming up with any hail across the area, although I tend to believe that's gradually, actually seriously on the wane, and it's more of a wind slash tornadic scenario as we go through time. So yeah, you could even see the hail tracker. There was now on the last, because this is a loop, mind you, we're going back a couple of hours. I believe it's 3-hour loop that you can see how it was an issue, but now it no longer is. So tornado warning till 8:15. And again, that does include the Effingham area on south and eastbound. But the core of rotation looked like it was just off to the southeast of Effingham. But we'll check that out, see if that still is the case. We'll also take a look at Doppler radar. So we got a couple of things to look at here with this storm system as well. One at a time, Doppler radar, then we'll follow it up with the velocity tracker. So again, big return there. Didn't see anything on the hail tracker. Perhaps it's just coming up, but you could see that the leading squall line very easily away from Effingham. Oh, it's raining cats and dogs in Effingham, and you know it too if you're there. But headed out very close to the eastern border. Dietrich right there. Woodbury up the road once you get to Cumberland County. So this is all going to fill in. Looking more north-south oriented instead of a Boeing C corridor. Maybe right there, maybe. They're not etched in stone, that's for sure. So why not check out the velocity tracker and see what's cooking? Then we'll quickly come back to that Macon County storm system as it's starting to come down at a pretty good clip here at our TV studio. So velocity first, please.
All righty. I was going to say also, National Weather Service says that they're going to let the tornado warning in Macon County expire at 8 o'clock. They're saying that.
Okay, well, let's take a look and see if we agree with them.
Yep.
Well, that hasn't updated. That's exactly what we were looking at before. So we'll have to come back when it updates. But the good news, they're probably not seeing any rotation within the storm system, so they're going to let that one expire. So farther off to the south in Effingham, and again, it's away from Effingham. The warning, as I mentioned before, goes until 8:15, but do keep in mind it sprawls just off to the east of Effingham. So velocity here, please, Ulysses, so we could take a look at what we're dealing with. And again, the worst of the problems would be definitely east of Effingham at this hour. Doesn't look like that one has updated either. So, well, I mean, it's the entire same loop out of Lincoln, which is coming in mighty slow. But even that polygon hasn't been updated. Even when you looked at this right here, it wasn't for Effingham. It was off to the south, and that has shifted off to the east. If it's an issue now, you're getting out in between Elliottstown and Dietrich and headed off to the east. So this one, at least for our viewing public, is going to be history coming up soon, most likely at the top of the hour. Hey, and since 5 o'clock, we may just be tornado warning free. We're definitely going to keep you posted, though, as we go through time, because let's take a look at that Doppler radar. That squall line doesn't want to go away just yet. It's going to continue until about 9:30, 9:40 this evening by the time it heads out into the Indiana border. So, yeah, this is a big one right here, okay? So you can see what we're dealing with. coming up through eastern flank of Effingham County. Now it's getting over southwestern Cumberland. Ooh, raining pretty hard. Eastern Shelby County as well, coming up close to Mattoon, Charleston corridor, and it continues northbound. The thunderstorms, that is, of course. The warning polygon is right here for the southern flank of Coles County, and that is a brand new one, I believe, Ulysses, until 9 o'clock?
Yeah, until 9 o'clock, it covers southern Coles County,
Cumberland?
Clark County, and Cumberland County until 9 p.m. 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, and it has a tornado tag on it.
Tornado tag, yeah. I mean, that makes sense to keep that tornado tag on there because, again, while nothing is imminent, 10 minutes from now, that could all change, and we saw that over Effingham County as well. So, again, it's tough to see it, but the polygon runs here, southern Coles County, then it's right along the border of Edgar County and Clark on south along the river here. So there's Clark County in it, try that one again. Cumberland County in it, southern Coles in it. If we could zoom in, Ulysses, is this for Mattoon, Charleston, or south of there?
It's just south, but I can
Okay.
zoom it in for you just so you. But yeah, it's pretty much just a hair south of Charleston, Mattoon, just south of Illinois 16.
Yep, so that's we talk about Illinois 16 quite a bit, and we were saying all along the main tornado risk was going to be south of there. Didn't take anything away, though, from that Macon County one, though. Oh, boy, that one looked rough, tough just a little while ago in around that Warrensburg, Latham area. If we have that new velocity tracker, I'd absolutely love to see if it's cooking up anything. And we do have it, and again, it's all ragtag. I'm like, I mean, there certainly could be some rotation here. But nothing jumps out. So again, this thing is all over the place. And the reason why you see, like a green, red, green, red, even though this is well beyond the leading edge of the squall line, I'm not going to get into the actual scientific names of it, but it's contamination on the radar a lot of times. So when there's different competing cells, they send out a power signal on Doppler radar, and sometimes the competing cells, say for instance, we're looking at this particular one here, but there's another one here and another one up here. So some of the power bleeds in to what we're looking at here. So it's called contamination. So it looks like there's rotation there, but it really isn't because it's not looking at the center of that storm system. It's looking at this one right here. So National Weather Service lets this one go 2 more minutes from now. Again, farther off to the south, there's that update. Oh, hey, you know what? I mean, these things, and this is what I spoke about before. Like when they were south of Effingham, I'm like, in between Elliottstown and Dietrich, I'm like, there's that possibility. I'm like, if these things are holding together, and they are. Look at that. But this is the border. And then it's out. So this is going to be clearing. And again, this tornado warning up until 8:15 for another 17 minutes. But very clearly, this is going to be clearing the Dietrich area within the next couple of minutes. But you're in the sound of my voice. You better be in your safe location in that area, okay? Hightails it out of here. And then we got some rain. And then that's about it. So in a couple of minutes from now, once this clears out, first time since 5 o'clock that we're tornado warning free. Boy, it feels good to say that. We're not out of the woods, though. Doesn't feel good to say that. Why? Because of our squall line. And Doppler radar is going to show that, and you could keep it zoomed out, Ulysses. Because here's the Illinois-Indiana border. You got this guy, which still has to clear this area. May not do so until, definitely won't do so until about 9:20, 9:40. Let's do the math. It's not quite 2 hours. It's over an hour and a half. Okay? So at least for about another 90 minutes, there's that risk of isolated tornadic activity here. Also with this guy, So pull that down for me a little bit, Ulysses. Excuse me. This is intense. Coming through DeWitt, Macon, on and through Piatt County. Thank
County.
you.
Yeah.
I always say, know your counties, know your counties, know your roads. Sometimes the brain doesn't work very fast. That's headed away from Argenta. So again, coming down at a pretty good clip in Argenta right now. But you know what? That risk of severe weather is winding down. And I hope you didn't have any damage. That would be the ultimate pleasure for me if you could tell me you didn't have any damage. But it's coming around road to Cisco, over the road toward Monticello. So this is the severe thunderstorm warned polygon. If you do me a favor, Ulysses, I have a hard time keeping tabs on times. If you could pop that up there for me. And there it is. I'll back out of the way so you can see that. And that's your severe thunderstorm warning until 8:15, so another 14 minutes there. I mean, it certainly looks like it could maintain itself a little bit farther off to the east, but as I mentioned earlier, Champaign was an area where we didn't really see the dew points plowing on into the 50s. So I suspect that they would weaken. I stand corrected because earlier when we were looking at this, they were in the 50s. So that warm front has been a little wiggly wobbly and has now crossed Interstate 72 to 74, in that Champaign area. So it certainly can't maintain itself. And the question mark now is whether or not Danville will be able to peak that high north. Now, farther off to the north, there's no way that's going to happen. Even in the Decatur area where we had 60s, now down into the 50s, all right? So there's cooler, drier air encroaching from the northwest, and that's going to squash that thunderstorm and severe weather potential, but not until they clear the Indiana border. Again, 9:20, 9:40, okay? So take note that the severe thunderstorm watch, which was until 8 o'clock, was let go. Until 2 o'clock in the morning, it is farther off to the east. It's not going to be 2 a.m. here. Again, this watch continues so far off to the east, it's crazy. But for us, it's a 9:30, 9:40-ish, and that's about it. The watch won't be extended farther off to the north, even though we do have a severe thunderstorm warning for Piatt County right now. I think this is basically a one and done. I mean, after that, it's just going to be rain. So I'm not, I'm concerned that it enters Champaign County. I'm not so sure it's going to continue its trek all the way. It'll continue its trek across Vermilion County, but what's the intensity? That's what I have to question at this hour once it gets that far east. Now, the storms farther off to the south, I'm definitely worried about. So Edgar County, Clark, Cumberland, Coles, definitely worried that we could have a spin up in terms of tornadic activity. So even though it's a severe thunderstorm warning now, it has a tag attached to it called possible tornado. And it certainly can change at the drop of a hat, okay? So that's something that we're definitely going to keep tabs on. So if we could, let's see if we got the update on the velocity tracker, because I'd love to just crush this Effingham one out of here and say, like, hey, you guys are in the clear across the entire stretch of the county. And there we have it. Yes. So up and out. So looking good right there. So awesome stuff for Effingham County. No longer a threat for tornadic activity. The warning does continue until 8:15, but again, it's for outside of Effingham County. Farther off to the north, we weren't looking for much in terms of rotation, so we'll just continue to keep tabs on Doppler radar for you. Let me just stay in this area here, Ulysses, because this is the area that could actually have some stuff that's going to try to spin up. And, we have this around Montrose, right? So, maybe, but you're getting to an area where the wind is all blowing toward Doppler radar in advance of the squall line and away from it in the wake of the squall line. Certainly nothing here. How about Cumberland County? Not seeing anything there either. And out across southern Coles, nope. Now, don't get me wrong. Hey, that squall line moves in. We saw how it changes at the drop of a hat around the Latham area. My goodness. Still haven't heard from anyone around Latham. I definitely want to hear from you. I want to know that you're okay, all right? I want to hear that there's no damage. The tornado formed outside of town. It wasn't a big deal. That's what I want to hear, okay? But it certainly looked like it was one. But I'm not seeing anything here for the time being. So severe thunderstorms, yeah, they're nasty. Update, this one's until 8:30 or is it 9 o'clock, Ulysses? The time frame
9
for this?
o'clock.
So 9 o'clock. So, and again, keep in mind, it goes all the way to Clark County. That's Casey over the road toward Marshall. So it goes all the way to the Indiana border. That's 9 o'clock. So, whew, yeah. Still a rough, tough go of it. But again, no signature. I want to stay for just one more update. We'll get you back to your regularly scheduled program if the update comes in and says, nah, we're looking okay. Honestly, I don't even know what's supposed to be on now at 8 o'clock, but we get one more update here on the velocity tracker to make sure everything's A-okay before we let this one go for the time being. But until that comes on in, I want to make sure because, yeah, still see this guy right here? I don't like seeing stuff like that. I want this whole thing to be painted green, and that's about it. This is out of Effingham County here. That's rotating off to the east, so it's not a scenario where it's going to bump back up toward US 40. It's going to stay off to the south. But again, maybe something a little fishy going on here that we're definitely going to stay in on. We'll flip over to a Doppler radar for the time being, maybe even show you future casts as to how these storms will be progressing. And there you can see it right there. We still have the warning until 8:15 for Piatt County and up until 9 o'clock. That is a big severe thunderstorm warning. My goodness. 1, 2, 3, parts of 3. Well, there's more counties down here, but at least as far as we're concerned. Coles on southbound along with Clark County. Rain at a pretty good clip here. And you do have the leading edge of that squall line. Actually, that's going to be merging. So I'm not even sure anything would form on the, because this is the western flank where I was looking for a little bit of something that could possibly go, but that doesn't look like that's going to be the case anymore. I'd be looking right here. That part of Coles County, or excuse me, Cumberland County, if anything were to go, or right here just off to the southeast of Charleston. I'd be very, very cautious in this area as we go through time, as a storm system, yeah, excuse me, I'm losing my voice here, as the storm system continues to roll off to the east. So in the least, it's a dangerous setup with straight line damaging wind gusts coming away from this area, upwards of 60 miles per hour, okay? You're definitely going to pick up a little bit of hail. I don't think the hail's going to be the big factor, though. I don't think it's a damaging scenario, but straight line damaging wind gusts could most certainly be an issue. So we're going to keep tabs on this one for you here. We're going to get back to our regularly scheduled program, but again, anything forms in terms of additional tornadic activity, whether it be over southeastern Coles, down and through the Clark, Cumberland County border, or perhaps even up the road toward the border with Champaign County, you better believe Ulysses and I will be back. But for the time being, do me a favor, stay safe and help out your neighbors. Back to our regularly scheduled program.